upon us! Let's play some shit. So Halloween is upon us, and being English, that means we do nothing except... However, since I now make videos, it gives me the excuse to make videos about scary games. Now, what are some of the creepiest predators you can think of? Scorpions, snakes, Billy Bob Thornton. Well, I can tell you that the scariest thing, for me, are spiders. Spiders! Spiders! And this brings us to deadly creatures. Remember when THQ was a thing? They were a game company who went under a few years back and helped bring to life franchises such as Saints Row and Red Faction. They also gave us great hits such as Drake and Josh on the Game Boy Advance. Or how about Daredevil? Based on the movie. Also for the Game Boy Advance. I would say that Deadly Creatures was developed by Rainbow Studios, but clicking on the Wikipedia link brings me right back to THQ. So... Deadly Creatures emerged exclusively for the Wii in 2009. That's all the background on the game I could find. So how scared am I? Well, you see that? Yeah, that right there. That's nightmare fuel. I wish I was joking. The game opens with the narration from Billy Bob Thornton.
George Struggs. The cops asked him what happened right before he slipped into that coma, and he kept mumbling something about deadly creatures.
And after being given some context, we dive right into the game. Okay, scorpions I can deal with, but it's the spiders that... Oh god! Deadly Creatures features two parallel storylines. I suppose the more important one follows two people played by the aforementioned Billy Bob Thornton and Dennis Hopper.
Monkey!
And their quest to find buried gold coins. The secondary plot focuses on an ongoing battle between a scorpion and a tarantula. For the sake of sparing us from repetition, let's call them... Scorpio and Tara. I don't fucking know. I'll admit, this plot is quite petty. I mean, they meet, they fight, and then spend the entire game chasing after each other. I mean, that's commendable. Scouring the whole desert for one another. Maybe it's a love story. Love story. I was half expecting this to be set up Sonic Adventure style, with the player picking between two stories that run parallel to each other. I was half right. The game is split into 10 chapters, and rather than outright picking who to follow, the game alternates between Scorpio and Tara every chapter. I said half right because the chapters are parallel.
I got a handle. I got it. Good God, there's a dead lizard down there. I got a handle. I got it. Good God, there's a dead lizard down there.
Deadly Creatures can be best summed up as a brawler game. You progress through levels, fighting through the horrors of the, I assume, American wilderness. Scorpio and Tara play very differently from each other. Tara is much faster, has less attacks, and can learn to grapple with webs, while Scorpio is slower but has a wide range of brawler moves as well as quick time event finishing moves. Tara still throws a mean spider bitch slap though. Also, the way she jumps is adorable. It might just be because of the sound effect.
Every time I go to Norway, I'm attacked by jumping spiders. Give me a break!
Speaking of sound effects, the game certainly has them. It somehow combines cartoony ones with realistic hisses and growls. You know, the thing that surprises me most about the game is that it's on the Wii. This is one of the most realistic looking games on the Wii anyway. The way the creatures move is uncanny. Even the way it just sits there. As an arachnophobe, that's exactly what I need. So where do the problems with the game lie? There are quite a few, regrettably. First and foremost are the aesthetics. On one hand, it gives the game atmosphere and makes it stand out. On the other hand, it makes all the levels blend together so nothing really stands out. Well, outside of a few select areas such as a thorn-covered tree or a petrol station. As a result, there were times where I was incredibly lost. It doesn't help that this is quite a dark game. Not just in tone, but like it is literally dark. There were times where I just couldn't see shit. Deadly Creatures also suffers from Budget Wii Game Syndrome, which basically means wiggle wham wham waggle. All of the special moves and finishing moves require you to shake the Wii remote and nunchuck. When used in moderation, I can live with that, but when all the moves except mashing A require it, it gets tiresome very quickly. Even worse are these QuickTime events. Just look at this scenario. So Tara has fallen into a Black Widow nest and has to break through 3 webs to escape. I'm already making enough bricks to build a small house, and now the game expects me to shake the Wii remote in the right way to break through, and it only takes one fuck up to be devoured by them. Did I mention I'm arachnophobic? At least with motion controls, I don't have to look at the screen to attack.
Is it gone yet?
One last problem is that, like a lot of 3D games sadly, the camera gets caught in all sorts of awkward locations. Getting this up close and personal with insects and arachnids makes my skin crawl already, so shoving the camera at them doesn't help matters. One example of this working against you is against a Gila monster. Rather than fight, you have to dig away, but the camera focuses on the boss, so it's hard to get your bearings at escape. Also, this game goes into first person mode when web shooting. First person. In this game.
Fuck that.
The thing is, you have to. Tara's main gimmick is the web grapple, and there are times that I might forget that and proceed to waste time finding a single web. I then feel like an idiot because it's right in front of me. I can't even blame the game for that. The webs glow. I'm just an idiot. On the flip side though, the game does have a good variety of enemies for you to brutally murder and then devour. There are lizards, mantises, mites, spiders, scorpions, tarantula hawks, and rats.
I am the Rat King! Who's even gonna get this reference?
As you progress through the game, the Hopper Thornton story continues as they finally track down the treasure.
How much you think's in here anyway?
Enough. Sorry, old buddy.
Wow. Dennis Hopper's an asshole.
What's more is that Hopper kidnaps Tara for his own deadly creature collection.
Oh, that's why it's called that.
As a result of poor planning and a bunch of domino-like coincidences, Tara manages to escape while unleashing all of the other creatures and then proceeds for a final showdown with a snake. Scorpio enters the scene with the proper final showdown, being the last chapter that makes it proper, against Dennis Hopper. I'm sure I'll look back fondly on this great final boss. Those timeless memories, dropping Bowser into lava, stabbing Ganon in the face, pinching Dennis Hopper in the balls.
I'll treasure that memory forever.
After attacking Hopper 3 times, resulting in him making some unsettling faces, we come to the game's ending.
And now, completely unedited or messed with, here is the ending to Deadly Creatures. Come with me, and you'll be in a world of sudden escalation.
Oh, where to begin? 1. He was on that snake in a fucking instant. 2. How the hell did Scorpio survive that? We see Tara escape, but Scorpio was right there. No wait. 3. One bullet blew up all those petrol tanks? Lastly, after all that petty squabbling, Tara and Scorpio just part ways. You know what the weirdest thing about this whole ordeal is? I'm getting strangely attached to Scorpio and Tara. They aren't really characterized, which I suppose lets the audience apply their own interpretation to them. For example, I noticed that wherever Hopper and Thornton go, Tara and Scorpio are never far behind. Are they somehow spiritually attached? Are Scorpio and Tara related to them in some way through something like reincarnation? Is their fight foreshadowing the betrayal that we see? The only time one of them actually stops to watch Hopper and Thornton is at that crucial moment. All the other times they're just walking by the action. Or maybe they're just a bunch of bugs and I'm reading way too deeply into this game to justify the £3 I spent on it. Yes, I am.
So that's Deadly Creatures. Most scary games just throw things at you, but I found Deadly Creatures much scarier because of the atmosphere, the realism. The fact there's fucking spiders everywhere. I was spooked. I was scared. And I was skeleton. Which is all I can ask for a game on Halloween. Just every time I blink, I just see them. Spiders. Everywhere. Now if you excuse me, I need to cleanse myself with a bath. Oh, shit!
This was a video I made, and this was a video you watched, so thank you for doing so, and happy Halloween! If you liked what you saw and want to help support me, then subscribing would be a good investment. Also, you can check out my Facebook and Twitter from the description below. And lastly, you can check out my previous videos. On the left, we have my review of Inspector Gadget for the Game Boy Advance. On the right, we have my top 10 N64 songs. Well, that's all from me. Ta-ta.
Oh, this voice is killing my throat.